Hi, I'm Brian Brown, one of the founding partners of Brown Barron.
And I'm Leah Barron, the other founding partner at Brown Barron, and we are a law firm that specializes in nursing home negligence cases. Today we're going to talk to you about arbitration.
That's right. In one of our previous videos, we talked to you about an alternative way to resolve a dispute instead of going to trial, and that was called mediation. Mediation is a voluntary process between the parties to try to get a case resolved. Arbitration is a little different. Arbitration usually is mandatory, and it's mandatory usually because of a contract between the parties that was entered into at the time you or your loved one entered their nursing facility. What do I mean by that? You had to sign a whole bunch of documents, or your loved one did, when they entered the facility about all the rights and the obligations between the parties. And one of the provisions sometimes in these agreements is that if there's a dispute between the parties, you or your loved one, and the facility, it will not go to trial, but instead it will be decided by an arbitrator. So what is an arbitrator? An arbitrator is usually a retired judge or an attorney who specializes in arbitration. And it's sort of like a mini trial that happens. So instead of going to court with a jury, the arbitrator takes in evidence like documents, hears the testimony of both the fact witnesses, you and your loved ones or people who saw what was going on, and the expert witnesses from both sides. And he or she takes all of that and makes a decision about the case. He or she will also rule on objections, just like in court. They will hear arguments from the lawyers, just like in court. But the rules of evidence and the general tenor of the entire proceeding is much less formal than what happens in court. Then the arbitrator takes all the evidence and makes usually a written decision about whether the other side was at fault, and if the other side is found to be at fault, how much should be awarded. It's very important to remember that both the arbitration agreement itself and the decision of the arbitrator are binding upon the parties, and with very limited exceptions, the courts will not step in and say something like, you don't have to arbitrate this case, or something like the arbitrator made a mistake and he or she should have awarded more money or should have found the other side at fault. Again, arbitration is another alternative way to resolve a dispute without having to go to trial. The main difference being arbitration usually happens only when there's a binding contract between the parties, whereas mediation only happens, or often happens, when the parties agree between themselves to retain a mediator to help resolve the case.
Thank you. If you have any questions at all about arbitration or about a potential nursing home neglect case, please feel free to reach out to our office. You can call us, you can visit our website, and you can also learn more by subscribing to this YouTube channel.